We will begin as we usually do with our invocation and pledge the flag. Council Member Ahern will lead us in that.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for you on the day that you blessed us with. We're honored and humbled to serve you here at the City Council. Lord, we pray that you bless our efforts. Lord, give us wisdom and focus on what you have us do. We love you and we thank you for your grace. In Jesus' name, amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council members, let's check in. And we're all set.
You sing around me.
We have, of course, the minutes of the September 21st meeting. If there are no corrections, I'll entertain a motion that be approved as written. Motion, Ahern, we have a second. All in favor, say aye. And the minutes are approved. We have a special group with us today, the Morristown Area Chamber of Commerce, as their 2021 Leadership Morristown Group, and Deborah Williams is leading them through all of the steps and events and hoops that they jump through to learn about how things are conducted. With everyone who is in that group, if you stand, and so we can recognize. Had the pleasure of addressing the group earlier this afternoon and gave lots of insight on council members, and they know about you. So I just watch what you do and say. Okay. This is the time we open the floor for the first time for comments from the public about items that are on the agenda. This pertains to agenda items only. You have opportunity to comment on the public hearing portion, and at the end of the agenda, if there's anyone who wishes to be heard on agenda items, this is the time. You have 3 minutes to speak, and we ask you to identify yourself by name and address. The floor is now open.
Well, I was here to talk about on Gary Chesney's Facebook page. He had mentioned that you were going to be.
At the moment, this is about agenda.
Yeah, agenda. You had mentioned something about hiring of new officers and lowering the criteria, and that's what I'm here to speak about. It was on your Facebook page. I didn't see it on the paperwork. That's why I'm questioning it. You had mentioned it on your Facebook page that they were going to be speaking this evening in regards to.
This is, for the council, this is resolution 9A1. Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
9A1, thank you. So we're trying to lower the standards of hiring officers so that we can fill positions that have been currently empty. I think that's a bad idea. We cannot lower our standards to fill positions. What does that say about our current employees that we have there? That they're either too good or not good enough? I venture to the more not good enough part. There's many of violations that have come forth, and if you get employees that are less equipped and less entailed to be able to do this type of job, I see that we're going to have more problems. By lowering our standards is not the way to do it. You can give them that pay raise that they've had. You can give them that automobile for an extra 10 miles. That's fine. I mean, all you're really doing is opening up the window from yourself and taking from surrounding departments. They need those officers if they're going to be an officer, and they should be in their own area so that they have a little bit of will to want to do right. versus living out of the area and out of the district. For all these years, you all have filled those positions. There's no reason to lower the standards now to try to fill those positions in. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to be heard on any agenda item? For those visiting the first time, these public comments are not question and answer sessions. They're not back and forth. And any response the mayor or council may have will come at the time that we vote on the agenda item that's been addressed. Anyone else wish to be heard on any item on the agenda today? Seeing none, we'll close this portion of the meeting and we'll go to our first public hearing. We have two resolutions before us. One is resolution 10-22, this being the resolution of the City Council of Morristown amending section 4, employment 5 residents, this of the City of Morristown Employee Handbook. This is the one pertaining to residency of the police department, correct?
Right, Mayor and members of council, as you are aware, both the public safety departments have engaged in the recruiting and looking at different ways to bring applicants in. And one of these is they ran into issues recently on past applicants and possible employees. And this addresses an item in the handbook as far as residency and take-home cards. So this time is.
We have a motion to accept this resolution.
So moved.
Motion centered. We have a second. As far as comments go concerning the individual who spoke about lowering standards as this, there is no standard that has been lowered whatsoever for the addition of any applicant to the police department. There is, if you believe there are standards being lowered, then you misinterpreted the resolution.
Mayor, the only thing is the distance, isn't it, increasing it from 30 to 40
30 to
miles?
40 miles. And any other item on there is an internal policy change that the police department can handle. They don't need vote for the council to do that. Any other comments? Are you ready to vote? Let's vote. That is approved. That's me here. Now we open the floor for comments from the public on any particular topic that you feel needs to come before the city council. Again, this is time limited to 3 minutes. Please identify yourself by name and address. The floor is now open.
Linda Howard, 2343 Joe Stevens Road. Would like to ask that at your meeting on October 19th, you put on your agenda taping your meetings and posting them on your website and on YouTube and any other potential means of getting the information out. I've asked for a long time, and that's okay. I'm very patient, I'm very persistent. And this is the right thing to do. I'm looking at these young people with this youth group. They benefit by the theatrical group and the taping of ball games, musicals, things like that. They know the technology that's out there and the availability. The county does it. You can go on Google, you'll find cities all over the place and right near Hamlin County. And I won't even go through the list. At least vote on it. If you don't want to do it, fine, but vote on it, please. That's the very least you could do, is take a stand and let the public and the people know where you stand on people that are handicapped, ill, have a schedule that doesn't allow them to come to these meetings, whatever the situation. Vote on it. Just 2 people need to say, I make a motion and I second it. And let's see where you stand. Thank you.
Anyone else?
third time I'm going to make a fool out of myself. Hopefully, I will provide enough of it. Thank you. My address is in Morristown, 316 East First North Street, and I have more property, and the city tried to tear down 2 buildings out of one location that has 3 buildings. They tried to tear down the 2 better condition one and let me to keep one of them has more work on, has to spend more money on. Well, before I go back and selfishly address things that I'm concerned about, let me talking about just the lady, I forgot her name, is it Lisa or Linda? I think we should have all the meetings being recorded and posted for easy access for the general public, especially the citizen of this city. That is very important. I, as I mentioned before, went through 10 years of hell of the deep depression and not taking care of any business that I supposed to attend for. And one of the reasons to getting there is because that indirect discrimination, indirect look down upon me because I have strong accent, broken English, not able to put my thought in a clear, concise, distinct sentence. Before I want to address back this thing, there's another thing I want to mention is the wastefulness of the city. Last meeting when I was here, when a council member tried to address my concern, 2 buildings being tearing down by order of the city based on some flimsy reason, maybe legally wise, but against the spirit of whatever the rule or law. I have no idea. It was being shut down by council member when other member tried to give me a chance to address my concern. And the reason was, as the council member cited, I have a lawyer and I should not talk to you guys directly. I did not, and I still do not. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to consult broad and wide and deep. But the other thing was that the city council was right there last week, and the council member never asked her. We pay for the council to work for the city. That is a very wasteful act, unethical. I'm not a good speaker. I do not know how to distill the things into the formula. I'm a storyteller. I will come back here every week and take the 3 minutes to address one issue after the other.
Thank you, Mr. Chen. Anyone else?
Tony Strazullo, 609 East Louise Avenue. The first thing that I want to discuss, and we're going to go back on, and I know you're not going to answer any questions. You said that you all were not going to be lowering any standards, Mayor. That's what you said. But right here, word for word, out of your post, it says, other efforts include adjustments to the rigorous testing and evaluation process of training and screening candidates. That doesn't, to me and to any logical person reading that, begging for employees does not say that you're looking to improve the rigorous testing. You're going to decrease that testing. And nothing was spoken about that this evening. And that's dissatisfactory. That should have been mentioned. If you're putting this on your Facebook page, this stuff should be addressed. The reason I know this is on your Facebook page is because you, Gary Chesney, violated my constitutional right by blocking me on your Facebook page, Gary Chesney at City Hall. That's a violation of my First Amendment right that's already been voted on by the Ninth Circuit Court. Everybody else in this building needs to understand the rights that have been violated through this committee and through other departments here. Yesterday, I was illegally trespassed by the Morristown PD under their effort to keep me from photographing in a public area. I set those officers up. I knew they would fail. I did it purposely, and I will continue to do it. This is ran by the state.
You have been asked to leave by a representative of the hospital.
Are you giving me a lawful order?
Yes, I am.
You're giving me a lawful order, so if I don't leave, you're going to arrest me.
Yes, sir, I will.
All right. Thank you, Lieutenant. That's all I needed from you guys. I appreciate it. Y'all have a wonderful day.
Thank you, sir. You have a good
Yep.
day.
Under threat of arrest is the reason why I'm leaving, and you guys know that. This is state property right now. Thank you very much. You want to lower the standards? We need to raise the standards. Because as soon as everybody gets onto what I'm doing, I will have other people that will take my place and set these cops up. Because if they're not going to learn what is constitutional and what is not constitutional, they're going to learn it the hard way. We need to make change here. We need big change. You all sit back here and you all don't know what's really going on here because you only hear the parts that want to be spoken to. I tried reaching out back in January to Chief Roger Overholt to try to better and to try to figure out what this department needed. He refused to contact me and reach back out to me. How you doing? Yeah, is the chief available?
No, he's not.
Do I need to make an appointment to speak with him, or... Okay, can I make that appointment?
Hold on one moment. Let me see if his, let me see if the administrative assistant is there.
Thank you. And ever since then, I've had issues with his officers. I'm done playing games. When I make my records request, I want my records request. That's what the law entails. I can tell you I know those rules better than anybody in this county or city.
Okay, she said she pulled this right off the website.
Well, that came from the city lady right there. Just now, records request I just made. And that's the way it's been for years. Is that I can have the records that are rightfully open to the public. And I'm denied and ran around. I'm done. I'm tired of it. Now I'm going to hold you all accountable. And Gary, you're the very first one. You'll be receiving your litigation paperwork.
Put your camera off just a minute. I want to talk to you.
No, Gary, I got to get this all on.
All right. If you go by the guidelines, I can unblock you. You know, the reason that you got blocked is because you violated the policy. Okay? You and one other person's all that's ever been blocked. I don't care if you're on there or not, but I'll unblock you if you understand the policy.
I understand that policy doesn't trump the Constitution. That I understand. And I've never gone on there. I've never used foul language.
Read the policy, and if you can follow it, I'll unblock you, okay? Deal?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Unblock me. Thanks for admitting it. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Tony. Anyone else? Hearing none, we'll close this portion of the meeting, and it's come to the part of comments from mayor or council or committees. For those who are visiting, we might, council members may want to have some response to some of the items that have been leveled, because it's not the normal procedure here. But the fact of the matter is, we have the individual, Mr. Chin, that matter's been adjudicated in court not once but twice. And it's
Not exactly, sir. I'm sorry to
the other one is about police improperly removing someone has to do with the hospital requesting someone be removed from their property for trespassing.
Today is October the 4th, 2021, and we are at the Morristown Hamlin Healthcare System by Covenant Health. And the Tennessee Department of Health for Hamlin County has started doing their vaccinations here at the front side of the hospital. And their hours are there at the bottom. we're going to go ahead and walk on up over here. So usually this would be private property, but since the National Guard and Hamlin County Health Department has started giving vaccinations here, it makes this a public area, meaning that I can record here.
That's what those two issues are. Any comments from the council members about any other topic?
Yes. Congresswoman Diana Harshberger honored Vietnam veterans today with a certificate and a pin over his lifetime. They'll be doing that in Hamlin County fairly soon. I don't have a date yet. But if you know any Vietnam veterans that like to be honored, please notify them to contact Susan at Susan Falconer at Diana Harshberger's office, and they'll be notified by telephone and by email of when that ceremony will take place.
Mayor, I think there's one opportunity that we need to all understand, and that is people have the right to come and address this council at any time, whether it be at this meeting or if it be outside of this meeting to discuss anything. But one of the problems that we have is grandstanding. And we have grandstanding by some people who decide they want to be on television, or they want to be on the radio, or they want to make a big point about how they're going to do this and do that. And they threaten the council with litigation. They threaten the council with everything else. They go before other people's property and then get mad because they get asked to leave. That's one of the things that this council has considered, Linda. Ms. Noe, this council has considered putting this on video. It's been talked about by one or two of the council people. But the scary part for me is how many people would want to use that to, again, get up here and start grandstanding like we saw tonight. And that's what we saw, was grandstanding. Now, am I perfect? I'm not perfect. If any council member up here is perfect, let them admit it, but I don't think anybody is. So we make mistakes, and we do things wrong sometimes. But for somebody to come up here and hit their hand on the desk like they're going to threaten us with something, that's going just a little bit too far in my book. And if you've been told by the judge at least twice that your property has to be condemned because it's not livable, and then you keep trying to say it's our fault, you should have thought about that, Mr. Chin, when you should have fixed that property up like it should have been. I'm talking now. And done when it should have been done. But you didn't. You want to come up here and grandstand. And the same thing with Tony. Wants to get up here and grandstand and threaten litigation. Bring the litigation on.
It's coming. You're trying to violate people's rights by telling them that they can't just talk about what they want to talk about in front of you. And that's not the way it works. You are here for us, the people. You are there to defend us. And if you're not going to do that, step out.
You'll have to leave if you're not going to interrupt them. You had your time to speak.
Well, he grandstanded this gentleman right here after he said not to.
So if you want to continue speaking, you'll need to do it out in the hall.
Do I have a chance to respond after the council member points?
If you wish to speak to any council member, is after we're adjourned, which will be just in a few minutes. You can speak with any.
I would like to have the public to hear it.
Anyone
I
else?
would like it to be recorded.
Mayor, I'd like to thank the leadership group for coming today. Appreciate that. I think the more that you can find out what's going on, the better you can function in your place of business, in the community, and we invite you back anytime and appreciate the effort that you've made. How many more weeks do you have to go? Three more weeks, and then we'll graduate. Well, thank you very much. had several, I'd like for us to ask Rich if he at some point can address the bus stops. I had several people ask if we can have additional bus stops.
Okay, we'll put that, you want to speak to that right now?
If you're ready, I'm not asking.
Do you like?
Okay, sure.
Yes, Lakeway Transit, we did add some additional bus stops, a total of 7. 5 are on the Orange Route, including, the Mall, Max, TCAC, TCAT, VA Clinic. We also did a additional stop on the Blue Route for the Grand Apartments on West Economy, and another stop on the Green Route on, Algonquin and Peck Avenue. My understanding that we are getting some additional ridership because of that, so hopefully we'll keep up. Go ahead.
There was a question from a veteran about who was let off at the clinic. We don't have sidewalks. And so they're in a motorized chair and they need to go down through the city, so they're crossing that road, that 4-lane highway. So I just put that on your radar.
That's one of the things we're looking at, trying to get sidewalks throughout the whole area. We did the bike bed plan, a couple of years ago, so it's just a work in progress.
Thank you for the additional stops, and there's a request for one on Center Street, not my name.
What is the farthest west you go on?
The furthest west right now is at the Lakeway Transit Hub, which is by Goodwill. We are looking at doing additional routes going further west. One of the problems we're having right now is getting bus drivers. So we don't want to put any additional routes out until we get some more bus drivers.
You don't have that. I've had a lot of concern about some neighbors when I'm a lot of apartment people, house people, whatever, but they want to know why we don't go any further west. If you live in the city, I feel like, you know, if I live on the west end, am I getting left out because I don't go as far west as the city goes?
The original routes were based on what the consultants did, AECom, that was back in 2018, so we based it on those. Like I said, we do have plans for some other routes. We have to have public meetings.
Well, I appreciate if y'all consider that.
You know, we got the community center being built. People want to go to the Walmart on the west end as well as the Ingles out there, the industrial park, so.
A lot of people are not able to walk from the far west end to your all's office. And basically, that's the way I understand it. You take it so far, we're gonna do that, they might as well get taxed.
There is still the ADA fair transit, they need that.
That's what I was gonna say, Rich, and Matt, you still have the point service for the bus routes. They can call ahead and set up we'll get that to be taken to a certain location. Is that correct?
And you're saying our ridership continues to increase.
What I'm hearing, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. I think we agree that the amount of conversation and the bus routes, bus services generated indication of the need and popularity of it. Council, we'll have a brief work session after we adjourn. If there are no other thoughts or comments or items to come before the city council, I'll entertain a motion that we adjourn. So we are adjourned.
Pedigo, if you can't handle the heat up there and take the grievances from the citizens, you should get out. You shouldn't use your voice to get back at another citizen. It's over. It's done and over. You gonna violate my rights?
I'm gonna ask you to leave. The mayor did as you're interrupting.
It's over. Meeting's over.
The mayor has asked you to leave.
The meeting's over.
The meeting is over, but they have a work session.
It's not hasn't started yet, so you can't kick me out in between.
The mayor has asked you to leave, sir.
Okay, so if I don't leave, are you gonna arrest me? Is this under threat of arrest?
Arrest could be an option, sir, if you don't leave.
If I don't walk out this door now, are you going to arrest me?
Sir, the mayor has asked you to leave, and if you don't leave now, arrest could be an option.
An option? Okay. That's all I need. It's as good as you arresting me. Violate my constitutional right to record in a public area. You cannot use voice against me. Thank you, sir. And what is your name?
Officer Holt,
Your badge number?
1267.
Name,
Morgan,
badge number?
783. Michelle Jones, 712.
Roger over 408.
Thank you. Keep showing that pattern and them phones will never stop ringing.
I mean, ultimately, you've left the chamber, so we can hang out here.
Oh, I know. Ultimately, yeah, I can go back in there for the next meeting because there was no meeting going on at the time. It was already over. So you guys kicked me out of a private area.
It's right over here. Careful.
I'm good with it. Y'all violated my rights. Y'all know nothing about the Constitution at all. It's sad. Because very next thing coming out of their mouth is we want veterans to come. Veterans that died and veterans that fought for our rights and our freedom. And here you are trying to violate them. Every day, every officer. I've came across one good one. One I tried to give a shout out to and he ended up screwing up giving me directives. Seems like that's the way it's going to be. Nobody wants to come out, just tell it how it is. Camera never lies. We always see what happens. Yep. Gary's going to be my very first one. I got statute of limitations, so I got a couple of years just gathering it up. But he'll be the first one, and he'll be recent. That'll set precedents to everybody else. It's not a game. I'm not here to play. And let you know that you sitting up there and taking word from him puts you on the line. Because if you violate my rights, it's you, it's not him. So I advise doing a lot of research on what rules and regulations in the law and what the Constitution affords inside of a government meeting. It's very important. I hope you take that legitimately because nobody else seems to. The chief definitely hasn't. And I know that phone's ringing because when I stood here the other day, it rang twice with complaints. I know they're coming in.
I couldn't hear a phone ringing, so.
No. The other day when I was in here, she answered the phone. Eventually, I'll get every phone number on there. Let officers quit after they've assaulted people. It's ridiculous. Officers like that's not going to make y'all's jobs any easier. That's the important part to remember. Bad cops make good cops' jobs that much more difficult. Yep.
You're not going to go back in.
What do you mean I'm not going back
You
in?
caused a disturbance. You can't
Not
go
during a
back
meeting,
in.
I didn't.
You still caused a disturbance. And as Chief said, because of that, you could be arrested. It could be an option if you go back in there and cause another disturbance. So we're not going to allow you to go back in there.
How you know I'm going to cause another disturbance? You don't know that.
No, I don't.
You know
but
that's against the law, right?
You're not going to go back in there.
Okay. So you're giving me a lawful order, Morgan, that I'm not allowed back in there.
That's correct.
All right. Thank you. That's all I need.
Okay.
Okay.
So, I mean, ultimately, you can stand out here in the rotunda, I suppose, as long as you don't cause a disturbance here.
Yeah, of course I can. Just like I'm
Until
allowed to be in there
Until
too.
we close the building.
Yeah, that's
and then
right.
you can-
That's right.
Yeah, Shelby, if you would, get back in there.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. And if you really knew the law, you'd allow me back in there too. Sorry you don't. See, I've always liked you, but then it's this, so I can't give you a shout out or nothing. Just like Hensley. Hensley's always been a great officer, but got to give directives. Thanks for violating my constitutional right. I'll be holding you liable. Bunch of tyrants. All right, well, that's another video from Lakeway Audits. They want to kick me out after the meeting, right? I didn't say nothing until the meeting was adjourned. After the meeting, I said what I had to say. There was not one person that was there in that meeting that stated to anybody that I was making them feel uncomfortable or I was disturbing them or threatening them in any way, shape, or form. It was all strictly about the power of the mayor and about the Morristown Police Department. I need you all to make those phones ring, the emails just keep on coming in. We need to get the word out that the government belongs to the people. The government does not belong to government actors that are trying to fulfill their observation of what they are in their department, not what they're supposed to be. Because you see, that was the chief of police in there allowing that to happen and telling me to leave, or that might be an option, right? So might be an option means yes, you're gonna arrest me if I do not leave. By telling me that you're gonna do investigations afterwards if I don't leave, you're violated my rights. Now you're conspiring. You're going back and you're conspiring. So when you went back after your officers left me at the Hamlin County Health Department, they went back and they did an investigation. They conspired to try to violate my rights. That's against the Constitution. I will be holding you liable. I am going after the small, easy one first, and then it'll grow from there. I have statute of limitations on my side, and as long as I continue to show this pattern of violations, it will be any issue to get a jury to respond and find you all as being guilty in the charges of violating the Constitution. Hit that like button, share this, and subscribe so you don't miss any more. Hey, where's your seatbelt? Where's your seatbelt? Hey, put your seatbelt on! Card 342, no seatbelt.